The 28 years later trailer has dropped, and I'm going to do a breakdown of what I can just now. But I think the biggest question is this Cillian Murphy and is he alive? It's been about, I'd say about 4 or 5 months since I watched 28 Weeks Later, and it's probably been about a year now since I watched 28 Days Later. So there might be a few things that I've missed in this trailer breakdown. And if I do, then please let me know which parts I missed that you want to discuss and leave that in the comments section. But I'm just going to go down some of the major bits that I can see in this trailer to try and break it down as best as I can, and obviously talk about this Cillian Murphy moment as well. So first up, we've got what looks to be a suburb within England, even though it's a Scottish woman that's talking. I know some of you guys don't understand Scottish, but this is a Scottish woman.
Jimmy, sit still, keep quiet, and do not move from the spot.
Well, anyway, this is obviously set in 2002 at the beginning. You can see that nothing's really touched in this street, so there's not been any bombings or anything like that. It's just a quiet street where I'm guessing the carnage begins. Do you guys get the Teletubbies in the US? If you don't, this is the Teletubbies. This is just emphasising the fact that it's set in 2002. The woman is clearly watching a lot of people's kids. I don't think they're all her kids, of course. So I think maybe some families have already died and she's trying to keep all the kids quiet while they watch Teletubbies. And of course, either one of them or all of them die. Don't quote me on this because, like I said, it's been about a year since I watched 28 Days Later. But this is probably the same church that we saw at the beginning of 28 Days Later. So it's probably going to reenact some of those scenes. Initially, I thought this island was maybe something to do with 28 Weeks Later, the scene at the beginning with Robert Carlyle. I thought that might have been it, but you can see that long stretch of bridge you can see from the little island onto the mainland. You see that later on in the trailer. But like I said, this island here, it looks like a setting that we saw at the beginning of 28 Weeks Later, but I don't think it is. Now, this is where I might not like this movie. Parts of the film I think I'm not going to like, and it's because it reminds me a little bit too much like The Walking Dead. The way The Walking Dead went after season 6, where they went into their communities like Alexandria, and they had roles, there was leaders, etc. It's all good and well, but I think when it gets a little bit too political, it might not work. But as you can see here, we've got roles in our community. So you've always got farmers, people who work in the tractors, people who are picking up crops, etc. for food. Then you've got councillors, which I'm guessing they're going to become the leaders. And then you've got seamsters as well. So there's people that are making clothes. And then you've got the watchtower where people are obviously looking out for the community. And you can see here that's people at the watchtower in full flow. We've also, not medieval, it looks kind of medieval weaponry that they've got, but they're obviously trying to make weapons out of what they've got. And this looks like some sort of, you get old fences that have got spikes on the fences. That's what it looks like to me. This is an interesting one where you've got, it says, behold, he is coming with the clouds. And then you see Jimmy there. I'm assuming that's Jim, which is Cillian Murphy's character. Funnily enough, though, the kid at the beginning that the Scottish woman was talking to, his name was Jimmy as well. He looked about maybe 6 years old, and maybe he's about 34 now, so it's possible that that's Aaron Taylor Johnson's character as a kid, and he's also called Jimmy. But also, there's another little girl who's credited called as Jimmy Inc., and it's possible that that's who that's referring to. So there's 3 possibilities of that being 3 different people. We don't see this in the trailer, but in some behind the scenes shots, we see Cillian Murphy. And with the outfit that he's wearing, he kind of looks like a leader. This is what I'm talking about, like Alexandria from The Walking Dead. You see Aaron Taylor Johnson with what I think could be his son, and they're going around a community which looks a lot like something out of The Walking Dead. Even those gates there, it looks like the gates at Hilltop. That's the bridge that I'm talking about that we saw leading over to the island. This looks like Aaron Taylor Johnson and a little young boy heading towards the island. This is really interesting because we hear that these zombies, we'll call them zombies, they're more evolved 28 years later, and you can see some of them look like they're running towards the camera, so running towards some of the people, but you can see one of them just standing there. It's almost like that's a zombie leader. I don't know what to make of this person in the mask. I'm assuming that these people are renegades. They're maybe working against the communities and the councillors. Maybe they don't like the fact that there's leaders here who gives them the right to be the leaders. So these people might be people that are just against the government. This shot was interesting because this is clearly some sort of zombie infected person and they look quite jacked. So I'm assuming that this person has just turned into one of these zombies slash infected, or maybe this is how they evolve, they become stronger. I don't know, but I'm no expert, but that body looks like Aaron Taylor Johnson's body. It probably isn't, but it looks like it could be. We've got the military here as well. So just like 28 weeks later, we've still got some sort of government that's in control, even 28 years later. We don't see much of Jodie Comer and Ralph Fiennes in the trailer, but this is them here. Looks like they maybe live out in the outskirts, possibly on the island somewhere, away from the government, away from all the people that are against the government. They seem like the kind of the earth type of people where they keep themselves to themselves. Maybe they know a little bit more about these infected than other people. I don't know, but they seem a little bit strange, especially Ralph Fiennes. I don't know who this is. Is this Jodie Comer? I only added it in because it's a really nice artistic shot, but it looks like Jodie Comer. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. I hate when babies are involved in films like this because you want them to stay quiet. We don't know if the baby's going to be infected when it's born, but we do have babies. This is, of course, the money shot in the trailer, just a split-second shot of what looks to be Cillian Murphy. Now, there's so many things that we can discuss with regards to this one shot because it clearly looks like an infected, a zombie, a dead Cillian Murphy, aka Jim. And it probably is Cillian Murphy's character. Why is he like that? Well, there's a few suggestions that people are saying. Some people say it's more than likely a dream sequence. It might be a dream sequence, but it could also be him. It could be Cillian Murphy. It could be Jim. But that doesn't scream out to me a dead, infected person. That could very well be Jim as an infected, dead person, a zombie. But it could also be him as a human being, still alive. You got to remember it's 28 years later. Maybe he's living amongst them because he's so used to it. He was one of the first that we saw in this franchise. So maybe he's got used to hiding in amongst in plain sight. Similar to The Walking Dead where they learned where they can put all the gunk on their bodies and they can walk with the walkers. Similar to him here. Maybe he's just really skinny because he doesn't eat much. He's learned to live the way he does over 28 years. So that could be a living Jim. Or it could be the dream sequence that people say. It might not even be Jim at all, but looking at the face, it's clearly Cillian Murphy. But that also begs the question where we see some behind the scenes shots of a fitter Jim, aka Cillian Murphy as well. But we've got to remember, these films are 3 films. It's not just one movie, it's 3 films. And Cillian Murphy has shot some of the scenes. I don't think he's going to play a major role in the film. So this shot here could be a future scene where it's exactly 28 years. Maybe the beginning of this one is not going to be exactly 28 years. It might lead up to that moment. This might be a shot that we see in the 3rd movie in this new trilogy. Either way though, even though it's only a split second, it is the most interesting shot in the entire trailer. When I talk about the evolved infected, the evolved zombies, this military person's clearly been pulled up by what looks to be an infected, so it seems like they're a lot stronger now. I'm a little bit alarmed here as well, where we see Jodie Comer with that little boy again, who was walking next to Aaron Taylor Johnson. I'm assuming then they either get split up at some point and he's running with her away from the infected, or maybe Aaron Taylor Johnson does die early on and she has to look after the boy as well as look after that baby that she's got. So that is all the interesting parts of the trailer that I can see anyway. Obviously, the film is set in 2002 to begin with, and it probably leads on to 28 years later. Who knows? Maybe the whole film is set from 2002 right up to the 28 years later, and then the fun begins in the second film. Maybe Cillian Murphy turns up at the end of 28 years later as one of the leaders in this apocalyptic world. But again, like I said, the interesting one was seeing him sit up as what looked to be an infected, but it could also be a human being of Jim, or maybe someone who just looks like Jim, but it could be someone who's just there and not dead, not infected, not a zombie. I think it is Jim. It definitely looks like Cillian Murphy. Obviously, it's not Cillian Murphy's body, but it could be an animatronic, it could be CGI, but it's definitely Jim. What are your thoughts on the trailer, guys? I absolutely love the trailer. I've watched it about 5 or 6 times now. This is a trailer that you want to see because it's not a really short trailer. It shows you quite a bit without telling you much. I like the music in the background. You don't hear a lot of dialogue. It's exactly what you want to see in a teaser trailer. So for me, I absolutely loved the trailer. It didn't give much away. But what do you think, guys? And is there anything else that maybe I've missed out on, or something that I've maybe thought happened in the trailer but was actually wrong? Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you soon.
Meeting adjourned.
I'll be right back.
What are you waiting for, huh?
Coming to get you, Barbara.
Ever played in the cat?
Someone's in the